Recording in progress.
Portia wants to jump on.
Okay, so I've just muted everyone. What I'm going to be doing to start with, welcome all. Thanks for jumping on your Sunday afternoon. We felt it was a really good time to sort of check in, not only for ourselves, but for you guys as well. With things that have changed, it's also super important that we make sure we have some form of structure or some clarity based on what you guys want to achieve over the next week, 4 weeks. But obviously today can be as interactive as you want. Obviously, if you've done any courses or self-development work as well, you'll know that what you put into it, you'll get out of it. So ask questions. We're here to work with you as well, or I'll hear Dan will add some input when needed. But we want to help you guys get some clarity and some specific goal setting structure down pat so that it improves your quality of life at the end of the day. It gives you something to be motivated for and to drive towards. So what we're going to do to start with though, let's utilize this chance as a bit of a time to introduce yourself and what you do. And it's a cool little way to network as well. Get to know each other a little bit more. So let's go around. I'll unmute you as I call you, and then you just say your name and what you do with yourself. Righto? So we'll start with Jack and Gerald. Hang on, Jack. You guys might have to unmute it. I've asked you to unmute.
Yeah.
Cool, got this.
Hi, I'm Jackie. I work in the NDIS world doing NDIS coordination and support. I've got a little disability company around the corner, which is good. Yeah.
Awesome. Gerald?
Gerald, so part-time Newcastle resident. Work up at Narrabri through the week in the conference.
And we've got a dog.
I've got a dog.
Love it. Thanks, guys. Drew and Dan?
Hey, Drew. I'm a systems analyst working at the Newcastle Uni at the moment, so IT background.
Cool.
And I'm Daniel, and I work in insurance in management.
Nice. Thanks, guys. Karen?
Hi, I'm Karen, and I sell the coal that Gerald produces up at Narrabri. We work for the same company.
Love it. Thanks, guys. Alice?
Hi, I'm Alice and I'm a home care nurse.
Awesome. Thanks, Alice. Jodes. Anyone can guess what Jodes does?
Yeah, I'm double jobbed. So I'm Virgin Australia, which I have been for 11 years, but obviously that's not flying at the moment. So I'm working for Centrelink, so Services Australia, but I'm in the pharmaceutical benefits side of Centrelink. So yeah, that's me.
Love it. Thanks, Jodes. Kizza and Ant?
Hey, my name's Kira. I'm a claims advisor in CTP Claims Insurance. So when someone's had a car accident, we help them recover from the injury and return to work.
Cool.
Hi, Anthony. I'm just your standard old painter in the commercial world.
Love it. Thanks, Ant. Lindsay?
Hey, I'm Lindsay. I'm a project manager at a credit bureau / data technology company.
Nice. Very interesting. Jimmy?
I'm Jim, and like half of this chat, I work in the insurance world.
Awesome. Thanks, Jimmy. Mel, Salemi?
Hey, I'm Mel. I like training and I like the beach and I hang out with my dog. I don't like to be defined by my job, but like the other half of the people here, I work in insurance.
Love it, Mel. Good perception on the question. Soph, Boyle?
Hey, I'm Soph. I'm a physio, but yeah, mostly just like being outdoors, pretty much.
Yeah, cool. Kenzie Fox?
Yes, as everyone else, I'm in insurance. And I'm currently outdoors.
Cool. Sherry and Dom?
Sorry, we have to accept. Here you go. So I'm Dom and I work in disability.
Yeah, cool.
Oh, yeah, take it away. I'm Sheree. This is Lottie.
Hey,
She's
Lottie.
really friendly. And I work for my family's real estate. I run our property management division out in Lake Macquarie.
What's it called?
Avery Property.
Avery Property. Nice. Thanks, Sherry. And Murphy?
Hey guys, I'm Emma. I'm a primary teacher and I'm also studying my master's in education at the moment as well.
Awesome. Good luck with it. Sarah H.
Hey, I'm Sarah. I'm a commercial lawyer at Osborne, which is next door to the gym.
Say that last bit again.
Which bit?
You're a commercial lawyer
At Osborne Law, which is next door to the gym, very conveniently.
Cool. Cameron Russell.
Hi guys, I'm Cameron Russell. I'm a group fitness instructor at Watch Street Athletic. I'm a business enthusiast and just an all-round good bloke.
Nice one. Love it. We got there, Nick.
Sorry, I had to work out how to put myself off mute. I'm Nick or Nicole. I work in insurance with half the people here in management as well. So and this is my dog, Betty, who's feral.
Hey, Betty. Meliza?
You're muted. You would think I would know how to use Zoom right now. I'm Eliza. I am personal assistant and team administrator at Cutcher and Neil. Yeah, and well, I work in superannuation.
Yeah, cool. Libs. Yep, you.
Hi.
Hello.
This is good. I'm sorry I joined late. I'm not weird that I've got lots of different jewelry on. I've just been doing it live because I have a few businesses. I'm a marriage celebrant, but I also do Envy Jewelry, which is real jewelry, and it's had to move online and it's driving me insane trying to learn how to manage everything with screens, but I'm not giving up. I'm not going to be a baby boomer that gives up. Anyway, and Steve just keeps bringing me beer.
Love it. keep them flowing, Libs. Kendall?
Tell her to unmute.
Yeah, just need to unmute.
Unmute yourself, Kendall. There we go.
Gotcha.
I just didn't know what happened.
That's all right.
Tell us your name, Kendall, and one thing you like to do.
Full name or first?
Just your first name.
First name's fine, yep.
I'm Kendall. I like to do park run.
Yeah, you are. And smashing it lately, aren't you? Or you're outdoor training.
Yeah.
Nice work. Thanks, Kendall. Porsche?
Hello, I'm Portia. I don't know what I was meant to be saying. I missed what am I meant to be saying?
Your favourite food?
Oh, Jesus, where do I start? Italian, Mexican, alcohol, wine, grapes, cheese. Yeah, that's me. I just woke up from a nap and my timer went off and scared the hell out of me. So, yeah.
You're here and ready to go. Grab yourself a drink.
Oh, yeah, I've already been doing that today. That's why I'm feeling a little bit, how you doing? But there you go. Yep, I'm here.
Love it. Thanks, Porsche. Ames?
Hey, my camera is not working, but that's probably a good thing. My name's Amy and I work in construction in marketing and PR.
Awesome. Thanks, Ames. And Scotty C.
Hey guys, fellow Cunningham in the trade game, but
electrician. How we all doing?
Good, thanks, mate. Great to have you on here.
Thanks, mate.
Awesome, guys. So I will unmute you at certain points throughout today. As I said, if you do have any questions or you want to ask anything today, please do ask. So remember the 4-click signal, so I know you want to be asked a question, or I can just unmute you anyway. Okay, so before we get into the nuts and bolts of why goal setting, a little bit about goal setting, what I want you guys to do is we're going to rate a few different lifestyle aspects or a few areas in our lives to start with, okay? So the first area I want you guys to rate, and we're going to rate on a scale of 1 to 5. So write this down. 1 equals very poor and 5 equals excellent. Okay, so you're going to rate these areas on 1 to 5. First area is happiness. So general happiness. Now remember these areas I want you to rate for the last 30 days. Okay, so over the last 30 days, these areas are going to be rated. Okay, so first one's happiness. Second one is physical health. Third one is mental health. The fourth category is relationships. So this can be family, friends, lovers, partners, whatever it might be, the relationships in your life. Number 5, career fulfillment. So your satisfaction or your happiness in your career. Career fulfillment. It's a big one. Your imagination and creativity. So how much do you think outside the box? Do you just think always straight down the line, blinkers on? Or do you imagine? And the last one is the financial area of your life. And finances pop up for you. What do you think? Awesome. So I'll just quickly say those ones again. First ones is happiness, 1 to 5. Physical health, mental health, your relationships in your life, family, friends, lovers, separate them if you want. Career fulfillment, imagination and creativity, and financial. Now, why do we set goals? Goals stimulate our positive hormones. They give us targets. Goals pretty much keep us motivated to live a higher quality of life or a better quality of life. So outside the norm. Now, there's different ways we can set goals, but the biggest thing to do with goal setting is finding a method that works. And a lot of you guys have probably heard or utilized this method. It's called the SMART goal method. So SMART is an acronym for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. Now, I believe there's 2 main points when setting goals. Most say the best thing about when setting a goal is to learn through failure. And we want the goal to be somewhat achievable. And that's where this part in the SMART acronym can come a little bit gray, because we do want it to be achievable. But when we set goals, we tend to set them in our comfort zone. So we're like, oh, well, I want to set a goal. I don't want to fail. Now that keeps us playing at that same level all the time. And to find breakthroughs or to see some form of change, we need to make sure that we break that comfort zone. So yes, make it achievable, but make sure that you're not playing it subpar for your potential, okay? And then rule number 2, it's the process of who you become and the habits you put into place that are important, not just the goal you set. So remember that. If you get to the end of these goal setting and 4 weeks' time you don't achieve a goal, it's not exactly about that result of the goal. It's what you had to do and who you had to become to achieve or to aim to achieve that goal. Because we'll always be continuing to reset and set goals. So So what should our goals be based off? What we tend to do, and you guys should have a think about this, every time you've set goals before, have they been based on past experiences? So for instance, I was once 85 kilos, so my goal is to get back to there. That was 8 years ago, you were at 85 kilos. I once ran a 20-kilometer PB back in 1969. I trained so hard for 6 months, I'd love to get back there in 1 month's time. Okay, so you can see that a couple of those goals, they make you excited for the minute. The next day you go to train and you're like, well, there's no way I'm getting there. You're disheartened and then you fall off the track. Okay, so they definitely need to be somewhat specific, but what we need to do is focus on the present to achieve our future result. So what can you do tomorrow instead of thinking about the past? What can you do today or tomorrow to get closer to those goals in the future? Okay, so always remember that when we start to set some goals down the track today. So now with those areas above that we've just looked at and you've rated yourself, I want you to choose 3 of those areas just for today's sake. Now, after this, you can go through and choose more. But today I want you to use 3 of those areas and we're going to specifically choose a goal for each of those areas. So it's 3 goals, 1 for each area for the next 4 weeks. Does that make sense? Yep. Awesome. Thumbs up. Brilliant. Cool. So I'm going to just run through a couple of examples while you guys still think and brainstorm. So an example for a happiness goal could be that you just want to improve on that scale of 1 to 5 for your happiness when you self-assess in 4 weeks' time. Super simple. Okay? Because this is just the goal. This isn't what we have to do to get there yet. A goal for physical health. Now, this is an important one. A lot of the time, 95% of people from a physical perspective will set a goal based on losing weight or a number on a scale. Now, I know that it may become a result for a lot of you if you were to continue on the goals that you need to do, or the habits, should I say. But today, I want you to set your physical goal, if you choose that, based on performance. Okay, so for instance, a performance goal might be to run 5 kilometers in 30 minutes, or an activity goal based on performance might be to move for 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. It's measurable, it's based on performance. If you would do that or practice that goal or that habit, no doubt you're going to find some correlation with body composition or weight loss, however you want to put it. Okay, a mental health goal could just be feel more motivated on a day-to-day basis, and that would just require constant check-ins from you with the scale of 1 to 5. Relationship goals could be that you need to dedicate maybe 1 hour's time slot a week with your loved one, a partner. You might want to send and catch up with 2 mates each week that you haven't spoken to. Little goals like that can be super, super powerful. A career fulfillment goal. You might start or continue a project that you once had a vision for, or you might apply for that job or that course that you keep saying you want to do. Imagination or creativity. Daydream. Set a time of day to daydream. Draw, journal, write a short story, make something up, draw a vision board. And the last example from a financial perspective could be that you might want to, over the next 4 weeks, put $1,000 towards your dream home. So have a think about yours. I'd love to get some sharers out of these. So once you do have a couple down, give us a couple of clicks, and I'll unmute you. Don't forget to take a sip as well. Keep hydrated. Goal setting's tough. Now, just remember what we've said about goal setting. I love everyone's so intent about thinking. That's great. Have a check-in and see if you're thinking based on past experiences. If people have trouble setting a goal or thinking of something as well and not sure how to think of one, then also happy to help. I sort of forgot about that the other one.
We all going goal setters.
Does anyone want to share one? Imagine being accountable to 24 people or more, 30 something people.
Hey, guys, I got to jump off because I have a gnocchi cook along with some friends. But is this being recorded?
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
All right. Well, I'll share one of mine. I've chosen creativity, physical activity, and financial.
Awesome.
My creative one is I'm going to learn and master a new song on guitar.
Love it.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Thanks for sharing. That's awesome.
See ya.
See ya. Anyone else want to share?
Otherwise, we're just going to start
Joey?
picking people.
I can share. Sorry, I couldn't unmute myself.
Go, Nick.
I'll just share my financial one because Daniel's on the line. So I really need to stop online shopping because when I get bored or I procrastinate, I just start shopping and spending money on stuff I don't need. So then I can put my money towards buying a house.
Okay, cool. So what's the goal there?
Saving money or saving more money.
Cool. Now that's a goal. Now let's try and use the SMART principle for this. So we want to save more money. So how much do you think? Well, you think about in your head. Let's not go into a financial conversation, but you need to make it a little bit more specific and measurable. Because if you need to save, your saving could be $100 a month, or it could be $2,000 a month. What you need.
Well, I was just going to I was going to save what I spend in Afterpay each fortnight. So start using Afterpay, which is a measurable amount. So
awesome.
Yeah.
And that brings us into our next combo, which I won't go into too much, but when we get there, you'll see that that's a habit or a barrier that's going to get in the way of Nick's saving goal. So she's redirecting a habit to then add to her goal as a target, as a new habit. So you can see how she's shaping that, which is great. So Nick, make sure it's specific, make sure it's measurable. I have no doubt that it's achievable, and make sure you put a time frame on it so that you're like, okay, every fortnight, every month, X, Y, Z, and then your dream home or the house that you want to buy, your goal is 2 years' time or 1 year's time. Now, whether you hit that or not, that's what we're trying to say. That is irrelevant. It's more so that she's undertaking the steps that are required to achieve somewhat close to that. And that's why we say you want to make it so slightly uncomfortable and make it out of reach so that you do everything you can to get there. And even if you fall short, you're probably falling further above than your earlier goal when you tried to play it safe. And that's what's important, is don't undercut yourself. Don't undercut your self-ability, your own value. Thanks, Nick. Ed, got any others?
I'll jump in. Mine will be, it's a physical health goal. So it's to spend more time on improving my mobility because I haven't been doing it. So like 5 to 10 minutes a day doing exercises to improve my mobility.
Cool. Awesome. And from a specific point of view, where would you say you lack the most mobility throughout your body when you go to do it?
Probably my hips and like squat range. So
cool. Perfect. Yeah. Perfect example. So now we've got an actual assessment that we can look at. So if Drew was to do a squat tomorrow, I would get Dan to take a photo of it. We'd check out his posture and how he looks in the bottom of a squat. And then in 4 weeks' time, after he has participated in his habits, that's going to get him closer to that. We reassess in 4 weeks, take a photo. That's his measure. Okay. But if he was to say that he sucks at squatting or his mobility sucks, and then in 4 weeks' time, to be honest, he probably hasn't changed too much of his habits and his mindset towards it. So his perception of his mobility is still he sucks. Whereas if he looks at a photo, he'll be like, oh, fuck, actually, this is pretty good. I do have a straighter trunk. I do look a lot more free around the hips. So that's where we want to look at measurable as well. And then we look at the habits you need to do, obviously following that. Soon, not yet. Thanks, Joey. Any others?
Okay.
Oh, all right.
So mine's creativity. I like being creative, and I don't feel like I have been lately. So I've been looking for a new painting for our lounge room for 9 months now, and I'm getting sick and tired of scrolling, trying to find, because everything's closed, so you can't go and find. You can't just go and walk into an art gallery or something. Drew's brother owns an art gallery, can't even walk into that. So I think I'm going to paint something myself and then try and see how I go and spend the money I would have paid buying the artwork to frame it. So that's what I'm going to, and also we're looking at doing an attic conversion. So I'm trying to plan a little bit of that myself.
Hey, love it. That's a great goal. A lot of tick boxes out of that from a result perspective, and not I'm assuming that definitely not even just the financial aspect of it either. So,
no.
That's awesome. Anyone else?
I'll go.
Yeah, cool. Go.
Mine was relationships. So I can zone out when I'm on my phone and not really have conversations with Tim. I guess like he will be there, but I'll be on my phone. He'll be talking to me, but I won't be talking back. So I guess it's less phone usage and being more present. So if that just means just flipping my phone on the table and just leaving it away and just having like playing like Uno or something with him, just to be more present, or when we go for walks, not bring my phone. Yeah, I just feel like it's like I'm getting worse.
No, it's such a great awareness to have. I know that probably most of us have done it or still do it. Now, you can look at that from two ways, because for you to be aware of it now and then on Wednesday it start to happen, you zoning out, which is what you're saying it is anyway, you need to make sure you have a measure in place to be like, okay, because you don't want to cut out something that you do anyway and you probably will want to do. Instead, you might need to time block for either or. So you'd prefer to time block and say, okay, I'm allowed, and our phones have this, they have screen time. They look at the apps, how much time you spend on them. So I would go in and check out how much time you're spending on them now, reduce it by a certain amount, not fully, because that's just setting you up for absolute failure, but reduce it, say, by like half or a third, or at that time period you say, which is at night time or when you're with Tim or have that quality time to spend together, you know that that's when you're not on your phone, you know, even if it's an hour, and then that's your time block. So you're sort of killing two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
So just make sure you've got specifics, it's measurable, and it's achievable. That sort of comes into play, the achievable. You're not going to go, I'm not using my phone for 1 month, because that's not going to happen. You're going to use your phone. Cool? That makes sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Awesome. Love it. Thanks. That's a good goal. I like that. Anyone else?
I'll go.
Yeah, love it. Mel?
So I put down for happiness, and not that it's particularly bad, but for this very current environment, my goal is to be okay with lockdown and living on my own and not getting any anxiety from it this time, which is based on past experience. So I've cut out like all Facebook pages that just report shit, and cut out people who constantly talk about it on social media and that, and just trying to have conversations, like start conversations with people that aren't like talk about the weather or sports or what's going on in their life. Don't start conversations purely around COVID and nothing else, because there's a lot more going on in life than just that.
Yeah, definitely.
And also making an effort to reach out to people to catch up, because I probably hermit a little bit. Poor Demi, I nearly leapt on her back this morning when I saw her. I was so excited.
That's awesome, Mel. There's some really cool takeaways from that. I think a couple of the cool takeaways I got straight away was obviously environment is key. Look what we're doing now. instead of filling our hour or two this afternoon with some social media, which we probably will at some point, but instead we're thinking about how we can be happier. At the end of the day, no one could argue that we set goals and we try and do things in life to feel somewhat happier. And at the end of the day, if we're not happy, then we either search for things to do or find, or we just put up with not being happy. So, well, that's awesome. What we want to try and look at there is, okay, so you can rate that scale of 1 to 5 on your happiness. You might even break it down a little bit more and look at, like you talked about, from stress, anxiety, and things like that. Put them in your little 1 to 5 as well. So you've got a couple of extra boxes to tick. So it's not just your happiness. So you can make sure that you're improving in those couple of areas that pop up for you. And obviously Mel highlighted what we will be doing next is what habits she needs to start to adopt or to not do more of so that she gets closer to being happier on a more regular basis. So she's sort of onto that next step, which we'll all get to for our goals as well, because it's not just the target, as we said, it's the process to get there. So thanks, Mel. That was awesome. Thanks for sharing. Cool. All good, righto?
Yeah, I'll go next.
Okay, go, Joes.
Okay, mine would be, I actually didn't write it down, but it's mental health. I think I need to start taking a day off. And when I mean a day off, like literally not doing anything. For example, yesterday was my first day off in 21 days. And I filled it with that many jobs, cleaning out the fridge, washing, vacuuming, cleaning the bathroom, food shopping, like the whole list of it. So I literally had a day off, but I didn't have a day off. So I need to put myself first, I suppose.
Yeah, 100%. And it's so true. How do we expect to be there for others and to be at high value for others if we're not actually there for ourselves? And that's why, like, when we talk about mental health, there is that stigma of like a negative connotation to mental health. But then we talk about physical health and people sort of, oh yeah, I can run, I can train, I can do whatever. How we approach our training as such for our mental health is as important, if not more so, than our physical health. And like Jode says, one of those tools for her is that she will have to start to dedicate time to absolutely doing nothing. And if that's what it takes for her to have that breath of fresh air to clear her space, and then get back to doing what she knows she has to do because she has to, then, you know, that's going to make a world of difference. So true, Jodes. Now, what you need to make sure you do is have a look at your schedule and your calendar, and your first point of call before you plan any other activities, because this is a priority for you now, is you need to put in there your self, improvement time, or your own, switch off time, whatever you want to call it. And you schedule that in as importantly as you would schedule your work meeting or work call in. Okay. And it comes first. If someone says to you, oh, do you mind just doing this for me quickly? And you've got that scheduled in, it doesn't move as if you would do that for any other job. Like you said, if you really have to and want to improve, you need to put yourself first. Okay. Cool. Awesome. We'll keep moving through this, guys. We've just got a couple more things we want to tick off from a goal setting perspective. So thanks so much for everyone sharing. If you still want to share, you can. It'll come up. So now we've set a goal which creates a lot of excitement and which is what we want. The biggest thing is keep those goals in the forefront of your mind or close by, or places you can see when you least want to do the things that's required. But the most important thing we need to think of is what daily or weekly task habits do we need to adopt or start to help us move closer towards our goal? And that's going to come back to you guys. And this is the important part. It's, you might want to achieve more mobility on a squat, but achieving more mobility on a squat as a goal isn't going to get you there. It's, okay, what do I need to do? Where can I fit these pockets in? And I'm going to give you an example from a physical health point. So if my goal from a physical health was to move for 30 minutes, 5 days a week, My example of what daily habits I need to set myself up with is making sure I've got a clear schedule of when I actually exercise. For instance, my schedule for my Monday is Monday Zoom class in the morning. Tick the box. I know that once I do that, there goes that day. Tuesday, I've got scheduled 30-minute walk with Libs today. Boom, tick that off. Wednesday, I know that I need to do some yoga or some stretching or whatever, or a bike ride. So that's an example of how you want to start. So check out your 3 goals and have a think about what daily, weekly tasks you have to get to achieve them. So Nick's could be a savings number, could be a less spendings number, whatever it is. Go for it. Also, guys, yeah, if you need help with any of this, just ask. I'm more than happy to lend a hand.
Is anyone struggling with a little routine or something to try and work towards your goals? If you are, pop your hand up. Nah, everyone looks big.
Dan, I might share some of my great goal setting for this week, and you guys can workshop it and think about it too. So it was funny, before this, I said, my goal this week is not to go to the bottle shop. So it may be funny for you guys, but last week I found myself going to the bottle shop lots, buying 4 packs of beers and stuff like that. So I have lots of beers and drinks at home. So my goal for this week is not to go to the bottle shop, not purchase items, because for me, not going to the bottle shop, I can drink alcohol at home, which I have here, but it'll also make me feel better because my income's been limited due to the lockdowns. So the second part of that is I'm not going to spend extra money that I don't need to spend. And by not going to the bottle shop, also the third thing is I probably won't drink as much, because in lockdown, I've been drinking a lot more, and it's probably going to make me feel a lot happier. So by one simple item of not going to the bottle shop this week, I'm going to save more money. It's going to make me feel better. It's going to make me happier because I'm spending less. And it's also a goal, and it's very achievable for me this week. And it's also very, very measurable. So
did you do small today?
Sorry, what was that?
Did you do a bulk shop today?
No, I didn't. Actually, when I jumped on the Zoom, Kaylee ran into the bottle shop to get some tequila.
Love it.
But I didn't go in. But I'm not, that was the thing. It's like, I thought about it, it's like, it's a small thing for me. It's going to make me feel so much better that I'm actually doing some more spending that I don't need to do. I'm actually going to utilize stuff that I have at home. It also makes me feel better about it.
It's such a good point as well, like not from just an emotional perspective into the feeling good, but you're also then feeling in control, which is a lot of the time what we lack when we try and achieve goals is we start to lose control of what we need to do, or we lose motivation to having control. And that comes back to those happy, positive hormones that we produce when we think of goals and why we want the goals, because that's the most important thing. You could have the best goal in the world, but have no desire for it or have no why you want to do it. And it's going to be tough to hit that goal when you're like that. So the goal can be achievable. And then now Cam has a little bit more control in regards to, okay, I may not need to go to the bottle shop next week when his goals aren't that, or the week after, because he knows he's done it before. So you're teaching yourself those new habits and routines as well in the process. Righto. Does anyone want to start to share a couple of the habits or the daily tasks that they'll need to adopt in moving forward towards their goals?
I can share mine if you want.
Thank you.
So obviously I've set a target of what I want to reach each 4 weeks, but to do that, I think that if I'm scrolling through my phone and I see something that I want to buy that I don't need, I'll just wait 24 hours to think about whether I really actually do need that. And I find that I do a lot of online shopping at night when I'm lying in bed or just scrolling. So I think just limit screen time at night to stop me from just randomly purchasing stuff that I don't need or
Love that.
want.
So measurable, definitely achievable. And then now she's aware of it. And the biggest thing is what you're all doing right now is you don't understand the power of holding that pen and writing it down. That's going to multiply the chances to succeed with that goal and to also adopt those daily tasks. You write it, you sort of ingrain it into your nervous system a little bit more.
Hey, Nick, can I make a suggestion? Because you and I send each other lots of stuff, but I haven't been trying to change my algorithms on social media. So I unsubscribe from mailing lists for places I keep buying things from, but also I snooze ads of places I see all the time. And it just changes your algorithm a little bit when you're not clicking on the same thing.
Then I miss the afterpay day sales.
Yeah, unsubscribe. Don't read your email.
I spent so much money on the weekend. So yes, I need to unsubscribe to all those emails.
Or
Thousands of them.
change your subscription email address to a different one that you don't use all the time.
Oh, I've got about 5 email addresses to get the free 20% off.
Hey, here's a good 30-day goal for people, and it's the best thing I've ever heard in regards to online shopping. So you can online shop, but you have to have the cart sitting there for 30 days, and then on day 31 you can then purchase it. So if you then forget about it, or you don't want it, or you realize over the last 30 days you don't need it, you don't buy it. So there's a good goal for someone. And if you're thinking about a purchase, put it in there for 30 days and see how it goes.
I will do that.
A good one that I used to, or you used to get taught, was set an alarm on your phone, which is kind of similar to what Cam's is. And if ours was 7 days, so it's a bit more realistic than 30 days, or a bit more easy, I suppose. But yeah, set a reminder in your phone. So after 7 days, you set a reminder. If you still want that thing when it comes up in 7 days, then go for it. Anyways, someone else can share now. Sorry. Anyone?
I think on the flip side of that, Nick, I love the goal because it's going to help towards your savings goal. But at the same time, is we still want to feel happy. Okay. So if buying something for yourself each week, Nick, makes you feel good, I don't think get rid of the whole thing altogether. I feel like add 1 or 2 things in a week instead of buying something every night. You know that Saturday shopping spree, you jump online, you've got an hour or 2 hour window where you can buy some stuff. You might
a certain amount of money.
Yeah, limit yourself to 1 or 2 items or whatever, but you're still allowing yourself to get that feeling from from buying something. But as Cam said, sometimes the thought of that actual buying something is better than when you receive it.
Yeah, well, half the stuff I buy just goes in the wardrobe and it just is there. So that's the problem. I think ask Daniel to see my wardrobe.
Oh, wait, cool. Anyone else want to share?
I can share.
Question.
Yep, go Sheree.
Okay. I don't know that mine is specific enough. Do they have to be that specific?
Just share for me and we'll have a look if you want.
So my mental health, I just would like to at this time feel more clear at the end of the month.
Cool.
So it's just to resume journaling, because instead of doing it each day or every second day like I used to or tried to have the habit of, it's like once a week.
Okay. So let's look at the goal. So ideally, yes, mental health is going to be the result, or you're going to feel a little bit better. But the goal, I think, you want to make it measurable. What's your actual goal? If in 4 weeks' time, is it just you want to feel clearer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Direction. I want to feel clear. I want to wake up with clarity and direction and drive.
Okay. Well,
which might be really hard at this time, right? But
yeah,
you can still
I
improve.
used to, do you know? So I think if I journaled each day, perhaps that would shift me back into that momentum. But I just don't know whether it's clear.
When you go into journaling,
Yeah.
What is your actual intention when you journal? Is it to write a paragraph, a sentence, everything on your mind? What is it? What do you do?
Kind of depends on what astrologically is happening at the time, how I'm feeling, where I'm at in my cycle, how my day was at work. Sometimes it's a total brain dump just to get the yuck. My job can be a little bit negative at times. So sometimes it's just a mind dump, and other times it's a bit of a planning session and how do I tackle tomorrow's challenges so I can sleep at night. So it's a very different, that's the clarity. I'm like,
yeah, no, I love that. I think maybe simplify it for yourself a little bit. So maybe even if you go into one night, each night you just write down one word of how you want to feel tomorrow, of how you want to be tomorrow, or how you feel right now. So just simplify it down so that you going into journaling, because at the moment you're saying you want to journal every day, which will help with clarity. You might only be doing it once or twice a week.
That's what I do now, but I used to do it every single day.
Yeah. And is that what you want to do?
Yeah, probably just at the end of the day, it's like a little mind dump.
Cool. Do you time block for it?
No.
Cool. What time would you find it's the best time for you to quickly sit down, sit down for 5 to 10 minutes a day and journal?
Oh, quite literally as soon as I get into bed.
Okay, cool. What stops you from doing it?
I just got out of the habit, I think.
Yeah. Cool. I think you just definitely answered your question. Instead, I think just write down, time block it so that you spend that time on that 5 to 10 minutes, and it's a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
You can sort of each day, you can have things that you want to focus on, but then you want to have 1 or 2 non-negotiables. And we are going to get to that. But if that's something that you know that when you do, you feel clearer, that's your measure. I think it's your measure that you are consistently following a habit that you know makes you clearer.
Yeah, because I'm much nicer.
Or rate your clarity 1 to 5 on a daily basis. Were you clear with what you wanted to get done today or how you felt? And if you're at a 2 yesterday, you're at a 3 tomorrow, and it fluctuates, but at the end of the month, you've had more 4s than 2s, you know that that's a measure that you've just succeeded at, or you've achieved somewhat a part of your goal.
And financially, sorry to hog everyone.
It's good.
So just basically just take further control of my money, and literally my answer is just, okay, make a budget. Is that enough? Like,
well, what does control look like for you? How would you classify control?
Know where it's going. Like, not click and buy, or just seeing where it's going, basically. So I feel like making a budget, it just seems so simplified. Is that okay? Or
I think that's great. I think simplicity is key.
Yeah, okay.
You can have something in a nutshell, or to simplify it to the point of where it feels too simple. I think that's your go-to. We tend to overcomplicate sometimes.
Yeah,
I think you do. So I think, I'm no financial advisor, but I definitely know a couple. But I think they say, if you want to know where your money's going, write down, know where your money's going.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
But that's your measure, definitely. That's your measure.
Sheree, get onto the Barefoot Investor. Even just the summary on Google, it's great.
Yeah, I'm not bad, but I just haven't been
just
savvy.
Read the snippets initially of Barefoot Investor and the principles, and you'll.
That years ago. Yeah, is that the orange book?
Hey,
is it orange?
Well, there's different versions, I think. Just Google Barefoot Investor, you'll get heaps out of it.
Thank you.
That might add not to your clarity. So just do it. Yeah.
Crazy.
Cool. Does that help a little bit for you?
Yeah, thank you.
Go one more. Lib, you
Or
had your
Am,
hand up.
yeah.
Someone?
Am, Lib, whoever.
I'll just go back a bit. When I loved how you made us score all those points, because I'm going 4, 4, 4. And then my biggest thing was, because the wedding industry's just gone, no celebrant stuff. And I just got another one today to move another one. I'm starting a course on Tuesday for certificate 3 in independent support so I can work in aged care. And it's interesting because I put career fulfillment was 3 and my financial was 3 because I want to have a slush account, and I love the barefoot investor as well. And my that sort of stuff's been drying up a little bit, but I didn't have a time limit, right, with a SMART goal, because now I've got this course that starts last week or 2 weeks ago. I just went and Googled online. I'm going through essential skills, and they do recruitment. I've got the course paid for by the government because I've got no income from the wedding side of things coming in, which I didn't know I'd ever be able to do. I start on Tuesday for 3 days, and I've got, for the next week after that, I've got to do 20 hours for 2 weeks, and then I get a traineeship with this place. So my physical health, my mental health, because my mental health needed to be clearer because I just didn't know what was happening. My physical health, I want to stay stronger to work with these people. Then as far as the financial side, I've been self-employed for 35 years. So I'm actually for the first time going to have sick pay, holiday pay and superannuation paid. And I'm in an industry that I know I'll always have work and I can still do all these side hustles. So my happiness is going to go to there. So it's a bit like I didn't have that time limit. I was just going through the motion and going, I'm okay. And then COVID sort of put the brakes on this. I've only been doing this wedding stuff for a little while because I'm a hairdresser. I don't know if everyone knows that. I do hair, celebrant, and then I can MC. So my plan was to get 40 jobs a year at 1,000, 1,500, and then have a little bit, and that was going to be great. And then 18 months ago, it all went to shit.
Yeah.
So I needed something to actually help those, and that was the time limit. I didn't have it. So in the next 4 weeks, I'm going, hallelujah, I've actually pushed myself into a course, been accepted, and I will be accountable to doing that. Plus, every time COVID comes, I get fitter because I'm doing more training. Anyway, so I am drinking more, but getting fitter. So that works, Cameron, I don't know. Anyway, so this has been very valuable. Thank you. So where my 2 3s were career fulfillment and financial, and I'm right now. So it's good.
Love it, Libs. Awesome. Thanks so much for sharing.
No worries.
Okay. Go, Em.
Yeah.
And then we'll go on.
Oh, do you guys want to go on? I can. I think one of the biggest things for me this year is since doing uni, probably getting that time management back into shape. So what I have put as my goal is to do 1 hour of uni every day, and that's Monday to Thursday, non-negotiable.
Cool.
And then writing down my routine on a whiteboard as well, just to have that kind of visual checklist happening.
Yeah.
Because I think that would make me feel better when everything's not left in a heap at the end and sort of chase my tail a bit.
I
Definitely.
love that for you, Em. I know I've had a conversation with you, sorry to check in, with you specifically about exercise related to this and fitting it all in and kind of getting to the end of the week and then being like, oh, I haven't even been to a class this week. So I think that for you is an important thing to schedule every Sunday or whatever, that you sit down and plan your week out like that, time block it.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
And that just comes back to a big point. I think, or 85% of us at some point in our lives, or nearly everyone, suffers with some form of anxiety. And anxiety is really worrying about something that's almost uncontrollable or either happened in the past or you're predicting is happening in the future. Now, when we're clear on things, it's very hard to feel anxious. When we have clarity based on our structure, our speech, our conversation, our setting, our environment, when we're clear on what's going on, we find it hard to feel anxious. So I think that's a really good point, Em, and then imagine eliminating, the chances of anxiety being heightened. You're then got more energy to spill into those areas that you need or want to improve on and spend more time on as well. So
and that's exactly it. Teaching is such a big job, and then studying on top of that, it's a lot of mental stuff with that, like just continuing to work after school as well. So yeah, I think that will definitely help.
I assure you that'll help. And I know for me as well, checklists, to-do lists, even if those checklists don't always, you know what you got to do, it gets it out of your head. And that's why they say journaling is so powerful. It's because it creates that, all those imaginary ideas and worries and thoughts and everything. And you've got it on a piece of paper and you're just writing out as what it sounds like in your head, but you're getting rid of that little bit of extra baggage that's going on up there. And that's the same thing with the schedule. You know where you've got to be when you've got to do it, and you'll do it. So that's awesome, man. Love it. Thank you.
No worries.
Cool, guys. Unless anyone else wants to share, we'll move on. So we've set our goals. We've created the daily tasks or the habits that we know we need to implement to get close or further past those goals or those results. Now we need to think of a thing or a couple of things that pop up for you. Any barriers that you know will get in the way when you're working towards these goals. Or you can think of that might pop up for you, because they will. You're not going to go smooth sailing into these goals now for the next 4 weeks. I assure you that's not going to happen. So we need to start to think about what will pop up for you and how we're going to deal with them. I've got a little example for that. So you missed a day of training. Your physical health goal was to train for 30 minutes, 5 days a week, but you've missed a couple of days already. Do you give up, or do you just reassess and move forward? So we got a few questions we'll tick off for that after that, but just know that that's what's going to happen. You know, Cherie's going to go to do her journaling. She's had a bad phone call after work that day. The last thing she feels like is sharing her thoughts on a bloody piece of paper. What could be worse? I'd rather just put some soap opera on and watch some TV.
Soap opera.
Is that what it is? I watch heaps of soap operas.
Island and TV shows like that. So,
but it's true. It's nice sometimes to switch off, but we don't want to switch off when our goals are important or our tasks that we need to do. Anyone want to bring up a couple of things that is going to pop up for them? You may as well make yourself aware of them now, because they definitely will pop up. Probably.
Kids.
Scotty?
Kids.
Kids? Yeah, easy.
Yeah, I can't say no. I find it really hard to say no to anybody.
To who?
Well, work,
okay,
friends, family responsibilities.
Yep.
So I need to start saying no.
Well, that could be a nice little challenge for you over the next 7 days, Jodes, is to see how many times you can say no.
It's very unmeasurable though, or do I have to write it down every time I say no?
Well, that's the barrier. I know that it's hard to measure. Like, the barriers are going to pop up either way. It's finding a strategy to then deal with them. So you being aware that probably tomorrow or your next rest day or self-isolation day, whatever you want to call it, when you're going to spend all the time just doing what you need to do to reset, you know pretty clearly now, because you've written it, you've spoken of it, you've been aware of it, that what you need to do when that pops up is, hey, sorry, already got plans. And that's just the commitment you need to make based on your own awareness of it. And that's why when we write these goals and when we write down our habits, the goals and attached to the emotion of why you want to achieve those goals needs to be close to you a lot of the time. So that when you become unstuck, or Jodes is 12 hours into work and they ask her to stay back when she had an afternoon dedicated to spending time by herself to reset, she remembers that if she doesn't commit to herself, then she's going to let down everyone around her anyway. So that just comes back to you being aware of them and just, speaking up and saying, no, sorry, I've already got plans, like you would if it was vice versa and you were at home and they called you into work.
Like it was a doctor's appointment, Jodes, and they said stay back, and you looked at your calendar and it says the doctors. You already have in there, Jody, me time.
Yeah.
I know, it's just really conflicting for me because my other goals are earn more money and save more money. Size more.
I love that.
Fit. But I already feel like I'm in the military. Everything's scheduled in, everything's organized. Like I want to make money, but I also know that I have to have some time off for my mental health. So it's kind of, it's a hard one.
That comes back to a bit of self-assessment based on, okay, is really going to work for that extra shift going to add enough value to your quality of life, or spending that 5 hours by yourself going to add more value to your quality of life? And that's where you need to assess it and say, I 100% know what would add more value to your quality of life, not that money that you receive from that extra shift, or that, catching up and making sure you're going to do the groceries or a walk with someone else and hear about everything going on in their life. I think the value you get from hanging out with yourself is by far more than anything else that could come. So that's when you just go, no, this is why, this is what I'm going to choose. And that's when you make the decision, you commit to it.
Jodes, it's pretty simple when you think about it. Without health, wealth isn't important.
Yeah, that's really true. Because I can't go to
the most wealthiest people would always take their health over their wealth any day of the week. And you can ask anyone, really. So just think about that.
Yeah, thanks, Cam.
And great work on putting your uniform on for this goal setting.
No, I
said dress up as you want to be career.
I did Centrelink all day and then went to Virgin all night. So I raced home so I could. I know I'm crazy, and everyone knows now. Great.
Yeah, 5 a.m. sessions 5 days a week, plus work 50,000 hours a
Yeah,
week.
Jodes, but I think how you look at it too, if you obviously just kept doing what you're doing and being in that little hamster wheel, what's going to happen? Like in 2 months, 3 months, like if you're continually working like that, you're going to get to like a part where you fall out of the wheel and you're probably going to be like, fuck it, I'm going to quit this job or something. So I think you need to make it, long-term thing.
And coming back to Scotty's, like obviously I can't speak from example. I don't have kids, but obviously kids are definitely an uncontrollable commitment that pops up a lot. Now, when we look at that, I guess it's one of those things like any other distraction is thinking about a time that you could 100% or 98% dedicate to getting 20 to 30 minutes of movement in, if that's the goal. If movement's the goal, or exercise and not having time to exercise, finding those time pockets that become a non-negotiable, and that becoming like going to work or whatever. And yet it's not going to work out all of the time. And that's why we say is if the goals are in place, the habits and the tasks are in place, and you can achieve at least 80% of them that at the time, then you will still move forward. So it doesn't have to mean that you miss your run set or you miss that day. Don't give up. It's about just finding that 80-20. 80% of the time, you're doing things that align with your goals and your vision. And that just takes a bit of that pressure off to not have to be perfect in everything you do, because none of us are most of the time.
I had a good conversation with one of my clients the other day regarding the kid situation, and one of her biggest struggles was not having her and her husband not being on the same page. So I think a good thing to be is with all of your goals, not just in relation to kids, you have a partner, like someone that you know that will contribute to, you making sure you go and move every day or every third day or whatever it is. Like I always tell Ado my goals, because annoyingly in 3 days when I don't want to do it, he's going to be a pest and be like, I know that you're going to feel better from exercising, from doing that. So I think obviously a couple of you guys are on with couples, but like I think it's important that you verbalize not just to us, but to your partner or your loved one that you're close with, the importance of whatever it is, your goal, financial, all those things, the conversations that need to be had at home as well.
Yeah. So true, sharing that and that conversation having, because then they're as invested in your goals. You're obviously with that person for a reason. You care about them, what they feel and how their quality of life is. And if you don't have that someone, then share it with one of your closest friends and let them know why you're doing what you're doing. Because when we talk about it more or we become clearer with our goals and our visions on what our purpose in what we want to do, we tend to follow it a lot more as well. We tend to stay in line with it, even if we come off track. Anyone else want to share? Okay, so now that we've got all those sorted, obviously an example in 14 days time, potentially you wake up, you're hungover, you've missed 3 daily habits. It's a Sunday for that week. You feel like you're off track. You have no idea what to do. You feel like giving up. I'm going to assure you that each and everyone on this call at some point over the next 4 weeks will want to not keep moving towards their goal, or they feel like they weren't achieving anything. Okay, it's going to pop up for you. So what I want you guys to do now, depending on how intently you want to do this, you could do this nightly or weekly. I find weekly could be enough if you haven't done a lot of goal setting before or self-development. But these 3 questions, I want you to write them down to ask yourself. So you'll sit down, you'll reassess, and you'll ask yourself, question number 1, something that I realized or learned this week. As I said, that could also be changed into a day. So something that I've learned or realized this week or today. Something I've realized or learned this week. I know that I said that question back to front twice, just to really throw you off. Cool, everyone got that? Question number 2. I could have made this week better if I. Question number 2, I could have made this week better if I. So essentially this is journaling. You're asking yourself questions, you're assessing yourself, giving yourself your own opinion. Question number 3, my top 3 priorities tomorrow so that the rest of the week will be better are. So if you could only focus on 3 things tomorrow so that the rest of the week would flow or be better, what would they be? And that's the question you want to ask yourself. What are your top 3 priorities? It could be that you need to make sure that tomorrow you spend 1 hour quality time with your partner, your loved one, or you call that friend you've been meaning to call for the last week. That could be a priority that just makes you feel better, gets that weight off your chest. So the question number 3 was my top 3 priorities tomorrow so that the rest of the week will be better are. The goal of the story is master the simple daily habits that become the process in achieving your desired goals or outcomes. Okay, so everything you've done tonight is based on pretty much you want to feel better, you want to be better, you want to improve. And just by being on this call tonight, you're obviously invested in yourself already enough to care. And that's the biggest thing, especially same as what you've been saying, Jodes. You've time blocked to come on here whilst meal prepped in between 2 different jobs. So kudos to you. Cool, guys. That sort of sums up our call. Does anyone have any questions? They want any feedback on anything? No? Now, the biggest thing, as we've said, and I just want to clarify it, is now you've written down a fair bit of stuff tonight. When you wake up tomorrow, at some point tomorrow, spend 5 to 10 minutes going over it. All right? It's going to create a lot more clarity, and then that's going to create a lot more success for the week ahead. And then same thing, reassess in. And if you guys have any questions moving forward over the next 4 weeks, your goals, you're not sure how to get there, that's what we're here for as well. Okay, so hit us up. Awesome. So you guys, you can all unmute yourself now. Can you guys all do it?
I love that during that, Joe's just powered through and powered and powered and powered. I feel so lazy just sitting on my ass drinking a beer. Like she's receiving a week's worth of everything.
I'm cooking Sheree and Dom and Portia dinner.
You should have said no, Jody.
Watching going, oh my God, she's cooking my dinner.
She's cooking my dinner. She's a busy. Yeah. I love that.
I've prepared something too, guys, so don't worry.
You're amazing, Jody.
Mine was the important one. I had the important